I'm learning Japanese. I think I'm learning Japanese. I really think so. Welcome to Sashimi Street. Today's show is brought to you by the numbers 1 through 20 and from the support of Fund for Teachers because teachers need money. We are going to think about what pops into our heads when we think about Japan. Let's clear our minds like this blank screen. Is it anime that you watch on television? Or manga, the Japanese word for comic book that you read? Or is it ninja? Or samurai? Or is it one of the many Japanese martial arts like karate? Or is it the Japanese cars that you see on the road? Or is it the electronic devices like TVs and microwaves from companies like Sony? Or is it video games from companies like Nintendo? Or is it the cute cat-like girl with no mouth? Or is it food like sushi or ramen? Or is it pink cherry blossoms in the spring or the beautiful landscape? Or is it the many temples and shrines? Or is it the devastating end to World War II? Or is it the robots? Or is it the radioactive lizard that attacks Tokyo Harbor? Or is it the disaster from the earthquake and tsunami in 2011? Whatever it is in Japan. Tongue twister of the day.
生麦、生米、生卵 uncooked wheat, uncooked rice, uncooked egg 生麦、生米、生卵生麦、生米、生米、生卵生麦、生米、生卵
Languages are like family. English is a cousin to German, and distant cousins to French and Spanish. By the location of Japan, it may seem that Japanese is related to Chinese and Korean. Chinese has many languages, with Mandarin being the most commonly spoken. However, Japanese is a language by itself, with no other languages related to it. Japanese adopted the Chinese writing, so it may look in writing as though the languages are related. Today's fun facts about Japan.
Japan is the largest automotive producer in the world. They are the world's largest consumer of Amazon rainforest timber. Coffee is very popular, and they import approximately 85% of Jamaica's annual coffee production.
TPR, or Total Physical Response, is a language learning technique that connects words and phrases to physical movements to support and reinforce its use and mastery. Our first TPR will be for Nihongo, Japanese language, and Eigo, English language. The hand motions are actually the signs for the words in American Sign Language. Nihongo, Eigo. Yokai of the day.
Akaname, meaning filth liquor, licks filth that collects in bathtubs and bathrooms.
Have you ever heard Chinese people talking? What did it sound like? Have you ever heard Japanese people talking? What did it sound like? Chinese sounds fast and lively, while Japanese sounds soft and long. In Chinese, the words are short, but they need to be said in a specific tone. There are words that sound exactly the same, but they are said in a different tone. For example, the word for mother and the word for horse sound exactly the same, but they are said in a different tone. In Chinese, if you don't say the correct tone, you are going to call your mother a horse. On the other hand, in Japanese, there are no tones, and the words are long. Most syllables end in a vowel sound, and each syllable is said at the same speed. When speaking Japanese, you want to sound like a robot. Proverb of the day.
言わぬが花. Not speaking is flower. Similar proverb, some things are better left unsaid.
We are going to talk about where we are and where Japan is in relation to us. Here on the map, you will see the main building of the Boston Public Schools. It is in the neighborhood of Roxbury. Roxbury is a neighborhood in the city of Boston. Boston is a city in the state of Massachusetts. Massachusetts is a state in the country of the United States of America. The United States of America is part of the continent of North America. Continents are the largest landmass on a map, and there are 7 continents. To the south of North America is South America. To the east of North and South America is the Atlantic Ocean. To the west of North and South America is the Pacific Ocean. Across the Atlantic Ocean to the east is the continent of Europe. Below Europe is the continent of Africa. To the east of Europe and Africa is the continent of Asia. To the east of Asia is the Pacific Ocean again. And of course, across the Pacific Ocean is North and South America. On the southern hemisphere of the Pacific Ocean is the continent of Australia. Further south is the continent of Antarctica. Asia is a large and diverse continent. You can think of Asia like a person. The body of the person would be China. The head of the person would be Russia. The right arm of the person would be the Middle East. The right leg of the person would be India. The left leg of the person would be Southeast Asia. The left arm of the person would be East Asia. Japan is in the eastern part of East Asia. Today's words and sentences. おはようございます。こんにちは。こんばんは。さようなら。ありがとうございます。どういたしまして。先生、くん、ちゃん、さん。 Momotaro. 昔々あるところに there was an oji-san and an oba-san. One day, oba-san comes home with a large momo that she found floating down the river. They cut the momo and out jumps a baby boy. They name the boy Momotaro and raise him as their own. When Momotaro grows older, he decides to fight the oni on Onigashima. The Oba-san gives him kibidango to take on his journey. On the way, he meets an inu, a saru, and a kiji, and each time he offers them kibidango and they come along. They get to Onigashima and fight the oni. They defeat the oni and return home with the treasures. Medetashi, medetashi, oshimai. A mnemonic device is a learning technique that is used to help remember something that can otherwise be difficult to learn. We are going to use a mnemonic device to learn the numbers in Japanese. We are going to use the hand motions of English words that sound like the Japanese numbers. More TPR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、11、10、2、10、3、10、4、10、5、10、6、10、7、10、8、10、9、2、10. Today's onomatopoeia.
Pera pera means fluent. Pecha kucha means chatting. Bera bera means chatting. Wai wai means noisy. Sheen means silent.
When learning a new language, you will learn how to say the words in the new language, and you will also learn how to connect them into sentences and paragraphs. Sometimes how you connect the words can be as different as how the words sound in the new language. How many of you speak another language? Have you ever noticed that when you translate a sentence from one language to another, that you have to move some of the words around to make it sound right? Japanese grammar is different from the English grammar that you are used to. In English, the most common sentence pattern is subject, verb, object. On the other hand, in Japanese, the sentence pattern is subject, object, verb. So when you say I am John in Japanese, you would say Jon desu, where desu means is or am, and comes after the object John. And the subject referring to the speaker I is dropped. Dialogue with John and Jane. John desu. Jane-chan desu.
Jane desu. Jon-kun desu.
More TPR. はい。いいえ。Today's loan words. Anime, meaning animated cartoons and films, is from the English word animation shortened. Pokemon is a combination of the English words pocket and monster shortened. Terebi, meaning television, is the English word television shortened. Terebi game,
meaning video game, is a combination of television, shortened, and game.
Jomon period. The period is characterized by the rope pattern pottery. The people are nomadic and live in simple dwellings. They hunt and gather for food. Pop quiz. In Momotaro, what are the animals that accompanied Momotaro, and how did he get them to accompany him? True or false? Japan is the largest automotive producer in the world. I'm learning Japanese. I think I'm learning Japanese. I really think so. To recap, you should now be able to greet each other, count, say your name in a complete sentence, and describe each other.